What is up, RotoGrinders? Myself, Chris Kirkwood, a.k.a. leader of the Juggalo Nation, a.k.a. Kid Yahoo, Kirk D's. It's Friday. We're talking MLB DFS. We got some games to keep an eye on as well. Coors, with its 12.5 total, it's not in this slate. Some would say thankfully. Some would kind of would love to have it, actually, but there is no Coors going on. 2-1, middle of the third. It was our squad rod pick of the day, too, I believe. I have multiple things going on there, but I believe Kevin Roth leading the squad to under on Zach Littell outs. Hopefully he does not get there. I think it was 15.5 or 16.5, depending on when you got in. No basketball for us tonight. Of course, Crunch Time will be covering that. You got SquirrelPatrol talking basketball, 10-game slate, tons of stuff going on. Did some content for basketball earlier. It is wild, as you can imagine, as we sputter to the end. 10 games left. No, not 10 games, 10 days. 10 days left as far as NBA. When it comes to the regular season, your Celtics are, locked into one, resting guys every single night. What Memphis is down to is kind of hilarious, kind of sad. Running some optimal stuff. It is, man, play NBA at your own risk, but for sure, there's some goofy things that are going to be happening this time of year. Shout out to the Malachi Flynn. What's up, Kirkwood? Is this your first show with me doing baseball? It might be. I feel like it might be.
I did one with you last Friday, buddy.
Uneventful, I guess. It did happen.
I also hit I hit my 2 Juggalo bombs. I hit Gurriel and Teoscar, and no one even gave credit or anything.
If you would have missed them though, people definitely would have came at you and said, Kirkwood, another miss, right?
Yeah.
Is that how that works?
Yeah.
You got some more Juggalo bombs in you today?
We'll see. They'll pop into my head at the right time. I think I got one.
Yeah. Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood the other day on Crunch Time went 3 for 3. I mean, not to not to one up you, but 3 for 3 is pretty good, Kirk D's. You hit the old meatloaf, right? 2 out of 3, not bad. But let's try to get 3 out of 3. He'll be on later as well. So
every squirrel catches a nut sometimes,
Well, you're calling Dave Potts the squirrel, and squirrel's also on talking basketball. Just to be clear, that's what's happening there. Just want to make sure I know what's going on. Let's see what's up with the absolute
best goat.
He is spectacular, and he does the impossible. He makes baseball interesting. And, reading about it to a lot of people, and I love baseball. I understand why people say it's kind of boring, but his article is a lot of fun to read, and he does it for 6 months. Like it's still fun and fresh in the last month of the season. Speaking of content, by the way, we do have a free piece of content available for the people. The Fantasy Pick'em tool. It's specific for baseball. If producer Steve can go ahead and drop that in chat for the people, that'd be spectacular. You use it for such things as Prize Picks, Underdog, DraftKings Pick 6. That is unlocked today for the people. That is free. I will drop it in the chat, but I am I logged into my wrong account, and this account it wants me to says create a channel to join the chat, and I don't even know what that means, but this is
you have a burner. You have a burner.
It's not a burner. It's my RotoGrinders account from Google. That's not what.
What's the name of it? What's the name of it?
No, it says my name. I think it says my name, but for some reason I don't have access to drop a link into the chat or even talk in the chat. I'm not sure what's going on there, but I promise you it's not a burner. I've never.
A whole. Yeah. We might go down a whole new wormhole with this, like a rabbit.
Yeah,
like Tommy G style. Tommy G style.
I mean, I hope we don't. You're not going to find anything. You might just make something up.
Epstein, Diddy, Shavelson.
All right. Weather report, by the way. Kevin Roth going to be on later as well. Kevin Roth, I said he was the leader of the squad today. He's always the leader when it comes to telling us what's going on when it comes to weather. And this is another article I cannot drop in chat. I typically like to do that. Producer Steve can knock it out for the people, but I'll go ahead and put it in our private chat. We don't really have to worry about it, as far as I'm concerned, far as I see. Of course, Roth weather is fluid. Later on, if something changes, he'll be on top of it. He'll write it up in his update as far as the article. He'll tweet about it, or he'll just tell you. He'll tell you on the show. Angels are yellow. Let's see. Rain likely gone by game time. Winds out to right field at 20 miles per hour. So that's pretty interesting. Atlanta. I love Atlanta when it's hot.
Where's that?
That's Anaheim. I don't think that ballpark matters so much as far as wind. Just, some ballparks it matters more. They build it in certain ways where they can subdue it. And I think that's more about what the old marine layer out there for Anaheim, right? We got a new ballpark we'll talk about next year with Oakland and Sacramento, right?
I'll tell you one thing.
The Minor League ballpark.
Are you going to start? Are you going to help people drive that ownership up on Canning tonight?
Okay. Is that your think Canning's going to be crazy popular? I think he's going to be somewhat popular. Yeah. He's fine.
I hope. I'm hoping you do that. Do more of that.
Now, who's your favorite team? What city do you reside in?
Doesn't matter. I know my team.
Oh, so you think this is a night for the Red Sox? Is that one of your favorite stacks? Is that a spoiler for later?
100%. It's also just if you're going to play Canning, find the 1200 or whatever more and get up to Cutter Crawford.
Yeah, that's interesting. We'll have to have that conversation. If I have the most money, if salary is not a thing, of course we don't know what salary cap, and we can do like the screenshot. But Spencer Strider, the best pitcher in baseball, the best DFS pitcher in baseball. It's not even great hitting weather today in Atlanta. Typically, obviously, as we get into the season, Atlanta is one of the toughest places to pitch, one of the best places to hit. Of course, doesn't matter what the weather is if you're not hitting the baseball. And Spencer Strider, he specializes in subduing that. He does not let people hit the ball because his K rate dating back to last season is a ridiculous 36.9%, a 19% swinging strike rate, which is pretty insane. He'll give up the occasional home run, but he supplies all that power, and sometimes the hitters actually get make a little bit of contact. But yeah, Strider is creme de la creme. He's the guy you want. If salary is not a thing, I assume you don't disagree with that. It's more of a question of like how much does he hurt the rest of your lineup? Shouldn't say hurt. Yeah, as far as salary wise, and we have some good step downs. We have some good pivots on this slate. Freddie Peralta, Aaron Nola, if you think he's going to get right today, Logan Gilbert. Like him a good bit as well. So it's not like if you don't have Strider, you might be 15, 20 points behind the field. That's probably not going to happen. There's going to be one of those dudes that kind of at least keeps pace with Strider. And of course, Strider could hiccup. You never really know. Yeah, your assessment as far as the slate, and we're going to talk pitching. And I think that's the place you got to start, right? Spencer Strider?
Yeah. Clear number one. I got nothing to say bad about him at all. Pesky Arizona lineup, not a ton of strikeouts in the lineup, but this guy's like any good pitcher when their stuff is on can mow down any lineup. I side with the pitcher every time. So I don't, all those stats include all the bad pitchers that they face. So when you have an elite pitcher, I don't really care so much about it. So, Strider certainly is the SP1 tonight. Now it's early in the season. There's more variance in these pitchers in the beginning, so you can make a case to all these other guys are fine too. Like you said, like Freddie Peralta's fine, Logan Gilbert's fine. I love Cutter Crawford. I'm high on Brady Singer personally, and I love Hunter Green. So there's plenty of other options that all have good strikeout upside. So I don't think you have to feel bad if you have a lineup without Strider, but he's certainly the SP1.
To your point, by the way, that Arizona lineup is pretty contact heavy, right? Especially the top of the order. Marte, 19%, Carroll, 21%, Gurriel, 20%, Walker, 20% as far as striking out versus righties dating back to last season. And obviously, like you said, that's facing everyone, not just the Striders of the world, but the gas cans. Suarez, 30% Ks, Moreno in there, 18%, Jace Peterson, 23%, McCarthy at 23% as well. But like that's not gonna like you said, that's not gonna chase me away. He's gonna strike these guys out at a greater percentage just because he's Spencer Strider. I'm pulling up the ownership stuff here as far as pitching, and we got an update right before the show. So if you have Lineup HQ, feel free to give it a refresh. They updated about 5 minutes ago. No, I should say 5 minutes before the show started, 4:55 on the East Coast. Most popular pitcher, no surprise, is Strider at 37%, but it's pretty neck and neck there with Freddie Peralta at 37%. Your boy Canning, or not your boy Canning, you want to pick on Canning, coming in at 21%. So you want to see that hold up. Nola at 20, Green at 15. Green's tricky, man. I think that's a good conversation to have because I think that's the classic. You can talk out of both sides of your mouth, right? Where you can definitely pick on Green because when he's not right, he's giving up 3 or 4 homers, especially in that ballpark that is not forgiving in Cincinnati. But he can also strike out 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and that wouldn't be shocking either. Mets did sit down Brandon Nimmo. Brandon Nimmo found himself on the bench today. I thought, that makes it a little bit easier as far as picking on that New York lineup. At least I think so. Gilbert coming in at 12%. You mentioned Singer. A little bit of sticker shock for Singer for me, but the matchup there against the White Sox, and I like Singer too. I wish he was a tick cheaper, just kind of knowing his history. But that White Sox team is pretty terrible. Crawford, by the way, 10% for you, Kirkwood, as far as our ownership stuff. So
it's got to go up because it's optimizers are going to give you run the number of optimals like you like to do and see how many.
I'll run it now. Yeah, I run them again. Yeah, we're constantly getting new updates and things like that, but I'll see what I'm getting. I think you run like a consensus, right? Isn't that kind of what you pull? I feel like that's what you do.
Can't give away my secrets.
Oh, fair enough. By the way, the FanDuel stuff, we'll talk about FanDuel as well too. If you guys are in chat, feel free to hit that like button and subscribe and turn on those notifications. First pitch tonight, I believe, is 6:45. No, 6:40. 6:40. So crunch time coming in around 6 o'clock. Again, Dave Potts talking baseball, Squirrel Patrol talking basketball. Two of the absolute best in those respective sports. As far as pitching, let's see. We got Peralta. I capped it at 65%, and I got 65% Peralta and 56% Canning and 47% Strider. Interesting. So you might be right there as far as the Canning thing. Green, by the way, I'm sure Cheese will speak to this as well. Hunter Green, to me, is kind of the old Robbie Ray rule when Robbie Ray was the thing, when he was throwing baseballs, when he was healthy. He's one of those guys I like to roster when he's not popular, but when he is popular, I like to kind of pick on him or just stay away. 20% he was hitting, and Nola getting 9%, Gilbert getting 1%. But Peralta hitting my threshold is, I guess that's fine. I guess that makes sense. I wonder if I would extend it even more. If you would get even more ownership, you probably would. What's your take as far as Freddie?
I like them all. So I'll tell you, I like Hunter Green the best personally.
You want to talk about Hunter Green? Go ahead. Talk about Hunter Green.
Yeah. This guy threw 100 pitches in his first start. And
yes.
You say, yes, there's variance. He's a high strikeout guy. He's going to keep getting better and better, but he is a massive strikeout guy. And the Mets are dog water. This team is horrific. And they are going to have a tough season. I hate to say that in front of my boy Steve.
Producer Steve, it's hurting him for sure.
I hate that he has to live through this for this season. And you know what? I have to live through the Red Sox terrible roster this season as well. So I get it, but you gotta. Everyone's going to stay away. Well, some people will make the case to stay away because of the ballpark. Because of the
look at the gift work by producer Steve, by the way.
Yeah, dog water.
He just types in dog water. That's what pops up.
Yeah,
spectacular job. I don't think that necessarily was your point, but go ahead. Yeah, it was very literal, but I know what you meant.
No, that's
someone
my
say
point.
Gutless. Would they say gutless?
They're gutless. The dog water is like the low of the low. People sit out there for a couple of days. For some people, I personally, not in my house. My house, Phil, gets fresh water, filtered water all the time. But most people just don't care about the dog water. So that's where that comes from. But Freddie Peralta's great. I got nothing bad to say about him. I think he's got high upside. He looked pretty good. He had 8 Ks in his first start. He threw 92 pitches, which was really nice to see. So, yeah, I like him. I like a lot of these options, but I love Brady Singer. He gets Bill Miller. Chicago is horrific. Chicago is horrific. He's got to have he was lights out. This is a kid talent that I've always been in on, and I played him way too much last season. There was a couple of nice hits there, but for the most part, he was pretty bad all season long. But he had 10 Ks in his first start. He threw 98 pitches. He needs a second. He's kind of a 2-pitch pitcher, but if he's got more of his other pitches going, then that's when things get really good. He had it in his first game, so I'm on board with him. I think this is a real talent is rising. And
did you look at the Weather Edge today for Singer?
No, I didn't look at Weather Edge.
52 game sample, 61 degrees, 34 is the dew point. I know that's you're a big dew point guy. Wind blowing in from right center, about 9 miles per hour. In a 52-game sample of similar weather, we've seen homers decrease at 20%, runs decrease at 6.7%. And you can compound that with taking on the White Sox, who are pretty dreadful, pulling up the old the plate IQ and trying to see what we have as far as the White Sox. Benintendi revenge game. What does he get? A revenge double? Benintendi? Can he maybe muscle out a triple somehow? Probably can't homer. Can he do that these days? The power is basically gone with Benintendi. Barely even had it back in Boston. Moncada will strike out a ton. Robert will strike out a ton. Sheets pretty contact heavy versus the righty at 18%, but DeYoung at 32%. Martin Maldonado cracked the lineup. Lopez is annoying, but at least he's buried, so you probably only see him twice, 15%. No power, but he will make contact. I like the Singer call as well, and that's kind of like the one thing why I'm not going to lock button. Two reasons why I'm not going to lock button Strider. I love Strider. No, I'm not going to besmirch. It's just that the salary is a little bit constricting, especially on DK, where I think he's 2K more than the next guy. And the step downs are good. Like I like at different levels. Peralta, Singer. I'm willing to roster Hunter Green. We'll kind of talk about it. But your child is a fan of Hunter. Was that Hunter Green? What got that response? Actually, probably didn't hear maybe because you get the earbuds in. But your child's fired up today, Kirkwood.
No, I heard it and I hit mute. It's he's going off over here.
No worries. Power on through. We have no historical data, by the way, for the Angels on Weather Edge. I was looking for that, and that's kind of surprising. There's been a lot of games played. There's no similar weather games ever. Maybe we hit refresh, we'll get something new. No. Okay. Is that because the winds are being really funky? I don't know, but that's interesting. All right, maybe Roth will have something.
I can tell you this, Dean. This is how you look at weather, right?
Yeah.
It's colder everywhere. That's not in a dome right now, typically. Okay. And
basically.
So you're not going to have with this. We're not searching we're searching for the exact opposite. So we want to avoid the games that are just so absolutely cold, although the Cubs still knocked around, the other night.
And the Dodgers. 9-7 today. The other day, it was what, who did they play the other day? It was like 9-8. I think it was the Rockies. They played like a 10.
The Cubs lineup is pretty fun, actually.
It's good.
Could be a fun season for them. Yeah,
I agree. I think it's pretty good.
But I'm not worried so much about weather anywhere, to be honest with you, because we don't have too much extreme on the bad end, and we don't have anything extremely good for the high end. So whatever. Weather, my 2-point model. Now, granted, it's been down for a week, which terrible. Right at the start of the season.
Is it still in beta?
Yeah, I mean it's in beta. We're getting a lot of great feedback. Keep it coming to those. I know I see you guys in chat. The few that I've given it access to, but
still waiting for access.
Yeah, it's been a nightmare, coding wise, because I'm doing simulations now with it, so it's tough. But
you got a coding guy?
No, I've been doing it all myself, so it's terrible.
All those ones and zeros, that's all you?
A lot, yeah. It's tough. But anyways, it's coming soon. It will be out soon, but it's not giving anything good out here in this on this slate anyway. So just hone in on the teams you like. The Atlanta maybe has a nice little breeze blowing out. Maybe that helps because they do hit a lot of fly balls. They things like that. But it's just look at that. Look at wind direction, and that's it.
By the way, speaking of beta, do you know what's still in beta right now? It's SimLabs. SimLabs, the expert DFS generation tool from RotoGrinders, Fantasy Labs. It's now available for baseball. It's in beta. Just a few clicks gets you hundreds of well-built correlated lineups for whatever contest type you're playing. If you're playing single entry stuff, you're playing large field stuff, you can be as ambitious as you want to be as far as variants. You can say, I want only Dodger stacks. I don't want any Philly stacks, however you want to play it. Just pop it in there, give it a few, directions, and it'll go. And the reason why I mention this, the reason why it being in beta, the people should like that. Like the people are upset that your model's in beta because they can't have access to it. At least I can't. But because it's still in beta right now, as SimLabs that is, it's still free. It's still free to the people. You can use it now. Not going to be free forever. I don't know when it's going to be out of beta, but feel free to use it at your own leisure now. We can go ahead and drop that link in chat for the people. I believe the link is also in the description. And while we're here, there's never been a better time to sign up for RotoGrinders Premium. NBA, PGA, college basketball, NHL, MLB, of course, just getting in the swing of things here. You can read Dave Potts, the Cheeseisgood, his articles, Squirrel's articles, the expert survey, the expert rankings, Weather Edge, all the goods. You can get yourself a 6-month combo subscription for an exclusive price, $469.99. Now, if you were to pay every month, okay, I'll have another month. Another month. You're saving $250 if you do commit to those 6 months. If you do not like commitment, Kirkwood, you can just get yourself a 3-day pass. 3-day pass gets you access for 3 days. It's $19.99. All right. I want to see if there's any lineups kind of. The Angels are still trying to make Rendon happen. He's leading off, which again, bold strategy. Yeah, you have Mike Trout. Let's have our worst hitter hit the most. That's a good strategy. Rendon is leading off. Chanel batting second. Trout, Ward, Drury, Sano, who slimmed down. Moniak, Ohapi, and Neto. So we got the Angels. See if we got anything else as far as any other lineups just kind of sprinkle in on us, because did I miss any? I don't think so. What are we still waiting for here, Kirkwood, as far as lineups? We're still waiting for the Brewers and Boston. Is that correct? Just those two? Am I missing something?
That's all I see, those two.
All right. Yeah. What do you think of? Am I just picking on Rendon inappropriately? Why is he leading off for the Angels?
No,
I did this last year too when they. Yeah.
You want to know why he's leading off for the Angels?
Because they're paying him a boatload of money and they just want to.
Because they're dog water. They're dog water. Look at every other batter in that lineup. You got Brandon Drury, man. What do you want him up top? You got Brandon Drury manning the 5 side. You got the reincarnation of Miguel Sano. You got Mickey Moniak.
Yeah. Oh, Happy could be something maybe someday, possibly.
I don't think so.
Ward's not terrible, but it's like.
Are you big on Nolan Schnauzer? Schnell?
He's a bit of a prospect. He's not there just yet. They're trying to figure it out, but I just don't know why these guys are hitting in front of Mike Trout. It's just why. I love
that's
the
one guy. They should be leading off Trout. They should be leading off Trout.
Bottom of the ninth, the Angels are down by 1. And
Rendon steps up to the plate with the bases loaded.
And it's like Trout's on deck. It's like he could have been that guy. You could have had that guy hitting. Nah, let's have Rendon hit, and he'll win the game.
And Rendon doesn't care. He got paid, and he doesn't. Yeah. He's been very vocal about
his priorities. He doesn't really seem to care. I don't think he enjoys baseball. He said something to the effect of, and I'm paraphrasing. He said something to the effect of when I stop loving it or stop liking it is when I'll walk away. I'll tell you when he's going to walk away. You want to know he's walking away? The exact moment that contract runs out.
Yeah, exactly.
Exact moment. You know what? I don't like this baseball anymore when they're offering me minimum contracts and I already have $300 million in the bank. I don't like it. It's not the same. And again, I'm not get your money by all means. It's the
How
Angels.
much money would you do to change if you could become a little league umpire full time? What would it take for you to sign up for that?
To be a little league, Blender was an umpire. I don't know if it was little league, but he did some umping. I don't know. I mean, I think I feel like it's something you do for fun, almost in a sense. I think
Blender would love to throw people out. I feel like
he's got a little Angel Hernandez.
He'd bait him like Angel Hernandez.
I can see that. I can see that.
What? Oh my God! Angel struck early this season, huh? Did you see
terrible.
That with he called that a swing?
It's embarrassing, and
it's craziness.
The baseball union is really, really, really strong, and they just can't get rid of this guy. And that's he's been around too long, and they just, as embarrassing as he is, and every 5 days or every 4 days he's trending on Twitter for the wrong. It's never the good reason. There's never a good reason why Angel Hernandez is trending on Twitter, and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's the equivalent of the NFL and they have these 80-year-old guys with the sticks. It's like, well, what? We have the technology, but they're volunteers, by the way. The volunteers on the sideline, at the 4th and inches. It's like they almost like it because any press is good press, just talking about it, even if it's in a negative sense. People are talking about baseball, I suppose. I don't know. I don't understand why they can't get rid of him, and he knows it too. He knows he's a disaster, and I feel bad for the guys that work with him that have to take. I don't know. Is he the chief, whatever they call it, the head guy amongst the 4? Whatever. It's It's a mess. Is he anywhere on our radar tonight? Is he beyond the plate tonight? I don't think so, right? You're talking about home plate umpire stuff.
He'd probably be in the field somewhere, and he'll mess something up if he is. But
yeah, and I always give this sort of like notes as far as umpires. So we have the umpire data. The start of series, they're not always going to be 100%. They're typically right, but you mentioned Bill Miller, expected behind home plate for Kansas City. Extreme pitchers umpire. Once upon a time, Derek Carty called him the Mike Trout of umpires, favoring pitchers. I guess that would be like the Ronald Acuna now, if you want to update that. Trout's still really good. But in a couple of games, we don't have the umpires just yet. But sometimes these are not exact because they do change. And then once they rotate going forward. What do you got? You were going to say something.
Chat. Shout out to all of Juggalo Nation here. Love the support. My man Butthole Jenkins here. Eric Johnson, new member who I let back in, even though we kicked him out at one point in time. He's earned his stripes back in. The Don Yeezy, always one of our big supporters. We love him. Derek, Ringerings here. We've got the whole squad. I'm just waiting for Fernando Rodney to come back. I saw him
he was around.
He was around for a show. I want him to come back for one of my shows. He's a little busy tonight. He gets in a lot of street fights. He's MMA.
Got close to games. He's still shooting arrows somewhere.
The arrows are great. I love Fernando Rodney, and the tilted brim. He did it. Right.
Oh yeah,
like he did it his way. My question is, J3, the We Want Dean, one of your biggest supporters. Also, he's trying to get citizenship in Saskatoon.
You can't just get Canadian citizenship. You have to get it specific to the province.
Well, I don't know. I'm not up on their immigration.
Okay.
But, anyways,
cold up there.
Anyways, he's talking about how long till the MLB team gets desperate and signs Trevor Bauer. What's your take? Do you think he should be let back in? No, I'm being honest. I don't think we'll see
him again in the major leagues. We're not going to see him. I don't want to get into all the details of it. I do not.
No, this is what I'll say, right? So Trevor Bauer used to be my favorite pitcher, believe it or not, and always. Okay. I love when he threw the ball into center field. I loved it, right? I loved if you don't like that, you don't like bat flips. Get out, make the game fun. Let's see some emotion. But after reading all that stuff and what it is, there's something wrong with Trevor, even if it's not criminal, if it's not technically he didn't break the law, there's something wrong with you if you need to do that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm good with him being out. And I was a big fan of Trevor Bauer.
Chat's asking about the Freebie Friday. Is it working for us? It's working for me. If we can go ahead and drop that link again one more time. I pulled it up during the show, the pre-show. It's we're giving away every single Friday. We give away a piece of content. Today it is the fantasy pick'em tool for Prize Picks, Underdog, DraftKings Pick 6, specific to baseball. And that link is working for me, so I'm not really sure what's going on there. Maybe give it another shot. Hit a refresh there or something like that. Yes, but I am already premium. Maybe there's a hiccup going on there, but hopefully, if there is an issue, it'll be cleared up. I don't know, but somebody else let me know because we want to give it away every single Friday. Maybe one of these days we'll give away. Maybe next Friday. Who knows? I can't make this work, but possibly Dave Potts give away Cheeseisgood. Give away the musings next Friday. Give people a taste of that. I'm sweating this Colorado game. Uneventful so far, by the way. 2-1 in the bottom of the fifth. The Rays at the Rockies. Had a total of 12.5. I'm not sure the people out there are sweating it too. And we got to get Littell's pitch count up there because we cannot have him. We cannot let him have 16 or 17 outs. Getting dangerously close. But, people don't care about. We care about the games that haven't started just yet, Kirkwood, not the games that are in the middle of playing. Although you could live bet as well. All right. Any player props for you, Kirkwood? Anything as far as a player prop? You mentioned Singer. Did you hit us over as far as Ks?
No, I didn't. I haven't. I'm struggling with time, to be honest with you, I had just enough to review the slate. I didn't put any bets in. I did put some lineups in, but I just want to give a bang to my man Fernando Rodney. He knows where that's from. So he did join. If you say his name, click your heels 3 times, he shows up. So good to see you back in chat.
You combined multiple movies. You combined a Wizard of Oz and Candyman, I think is what just happened there, which will be an interesting melding of 2 movies. The Castellanos home run would be funny because of the earthquake. That it's a nice narrative. I like that. Well, it had to be in the middle. Who was that? I saw it was like a 4.8. Did it seriously affect anybody? I don't know. I have not been on top of the news as far as that, but everybody's playing, right? And there's no issue beyond, or was there something serious? I know the Castellanos thing is kind of famous for it. He's not hitting a home run in the middle of an earthquake. He's hitting it hours later. So does that qualify? Does that work for you?
Same day works. Same day. Now TJ's in chat trying to pump up the likes. Let's get these likes. We can get 1,000 likes. There's still time. 1,000 likes. I will streak Fenway Park opening day. You're running out of time to get this done. It will be against the Orioles. I will do it. Bobby Gomes will bail me out afterwards. So it's there for the taking. Get these likes up.
Let's see. No Jake Bowers.
I'll just need my RotoGrinders stock.
Yeah, I mean, you think Bobby's going to bail you out when is opening day? They haven't had a game at home. I guess it's Monday or Tuesday, probably.
Yeah, they try to start them off hard on a West Coast trip to start the season. No respect.
Oh, Neil Cruz hit a homer. I'm watching the replay here in the Twitter. Nope, I thought it went out of the stadium, but it went to didn't. It was that guy, man. When he gets a hold of it, it's incredible. Big splits guy too. Early this
we're gonna bump this up. If we can get 1,000. We got Dr. Jimmy James Johnson Jr. willing to throw his doctor license on the line for potentially becoming a registered sex offender after he gets arrested. I don't know the laws in Atlanta, but he will do it in Atlanta tonight.
Larry David will tell you about the laws in Atlanta. That's a whole other conversation. But that's been the one of the themes for Curb Your Enthusiasm this year. And I don't know if you lose your doctor status. Not encouraging anybody to do such things, but I don't think they would take away your doctor status. So Reese McGuire and Oliver Dunn are in the Boston lineup. So no Bowers and no Wong. I'm trying to pull it up here on the fly. See, we just adjusted it on the lineup HQ. So that means we must have just got the lineup and I missed it. Do you happen to have this in front of you here, Kirkwood? I'm trying to find it. I'm scrambling. Boston's lineup. Red Sox.
Oh, Boston. I don't have it officially. It's out?
I believe so. I think it just came in. I could be wrong. Check.
I've been banned. I got blocked from one of the lineup people. I have my.
I can't imagine what you did.
I did nothing. I swear to God, I did nothing too. It's the worst block. And then I thought Cam messaged me about playing at Underdog a little bit, and I asked him to get me unblocked, and he said he would look into it, and never got back to me. Must have been too racy for them, I guess.
I'll tell you why, actually, off the air. I'll tell you why this didn't happen. Duran, Devers, Story, Yoshida, O'Neill, Casas, Valdez, Rafaela, and Reese McGuire. Steve in chat. Thank you, Steve, giving us the Boston lineup. So we got everything with the exception of we got everything. We got them all. Okay. Were we missing Milwaukee before? Churio, Contreras, Yelich, Adames, Oliver Dunn, Reese Hoskins, Frelick, Ortiz, and the speedster Terang at the bottom of the lineup. I love it. I love when we have all the lineups. You can just kind of look at everything as far as the screenshots. Other pitchers that are worth talking about that you want to talk about. I think you only make like one or two main lineups, right?
This is a good Red Sox lineup tonight.
Are you betting Boston? It sounds like you like your Red Sox this evening. You like the pitcher. You like the Boston lineup. It sounds like you're betting. I mean, I'm not trying to force it on you, but is this something you're considering?
Just might, Dean. Just might.
All right. I mean, look, I'm not.
I'd say that's a good guess.
Yeah. If nothing else, like if things aren't going well, you can tilt bet that game.
It's the bailout game. The bailout. Absolutely.
The catch me up game.
Because you never know whether you're. Once you get a little time to yourself to think for a second, you never know what avenues you're going to end up down.
You got an Aaron Nola tape?
You know what I did? I did the other night. The Dodgers and Giants game. I put in a late Juan Soto home run bet. I mean, not Juan Soto, Jorge Soler, and I fell asleep and I woke up and it hit in the 8th inning. I was pumped about that. It was a good way to start the day.
Jorge Soler is going to hit like 40 home runs this year, and like people are never going to talk about him. Especially against. I know the ballpark stinks. Obviously, he's out there on the West Coast. nobody really talked about the Giants. The Giants are my sneaky long shot team to go to the World Series. I'll be pumping them up all year until it falls apart. But I think I got them at like 50 to 1. I can't remember what number I got them at, but obviously I know the Dodgers exist, but goofiness happens in baseball all the time. Not enough scoring in Colorado. I was told there would be runs. It's just 2-1 in the top of the 6th.
You're really tilting this game, huh?
Well, because the weather is just I don't know if you saw the weather. It's insane. It's like 30-mile-per-hour winds. It's have you heard about the elevation?
What temperature is it, Dean?
It's like in the 70s, which is it's like no, it's not. It's in the 70s.
The 70s and 60s are not very, unless you get to the high 70s. That doesn't.
It's all
make
relative.
Much of a difference.
25-mile-per-hour winds, 30-mile-per-hour gusts. All right.
I mean, my good people, we bet the under over at the Dew Point simulation. So shout out to everybody who got in on that and got the alert, and we put in our beta bets. Congratulations. Let's not jinx it, but keep your fingers crossed. It's looking good. We'll hit another one tomorrow.
Do you want to give anything else as far as pitchers? I asked you about Nola. I'm not sure if you heard me. It's not something you have to do, but I think he's like in play if you're running out a bunch of lineups. I'll tell you who we have consensus-wise. This is myself. Dave Potts will be on in a bit, Napster Man, and yourself. This is the consensus. On DK, we got Peralta number 1 because salary is considered. Peralta, Strider, Singer, Crawford, Canning, and Gilbert. A little bit of Green, a little bit of Nola. One person gave a little shout out to Nola. Neither one of us. We got a roster 6. So when you have less than 10 games, we got a roster 6 or right up 6. I shouldn't say right up. List 6, rank 6, and neither of us gave Nola. You did give a shout out to Hunter Green. I was the only one who didn't. He would have been my 7, and maybe on second thought he should be my 6. But anything else you want to say as far as he's
I'd
rankings?
move him up. I'd move him up now. Actually, if I went in, I should move him up.
But you're moving him up from you got him at 5, and you think he's even higher.
Yeah. Yep.
You got Peralta 1, Strider 2, Singer 3, Crawford 4. You like all those guys.
And that's price, but I mean, I love, so it's like, to me, Hunter Green, Brady Singer, and Cutter Crawford are all extremely good plays tonight.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too, which again, so your one lineup, Kirkwood, your one lineup tonight, is it Strider or are you forcing Strider?
I try to save as much money as I can. I'm good with Hunter Green. I'm good with Brady Singer. I think both of those guys could have massive strikeout upside. If things break right, I'm fine with Cutter Crawford too. So, save the money and try to get a couple extra Braves bets.
I see TJ hanging out in chat. We need a couple more likes for the Spidey to make appearance, little Spidey bomb for the people. How many likes do we need for? I know you said likes for to streak over in Fenway. That's probably not going to happen. You need 1,000 for those. How many to get a Juggalo bomb out of you?
Juggalo, you know what? What are we at now?
I'm not sure, but I would say I think Spidey bomb is 75. So maybe 100, maybe 100 for a Juggalo bomb.
Spidey bombs is probably is even bigger than a Juggalo bomb at this point. He put a lot of marketing effort, a big push. He had big corporate behind him pushing the Spidey bomb.
There's a graphic and everything. You have a graphic.
Yeah, but it wasn't the first graphic. It was down the road. It was just a competing graphic down the road. And I got a cease and desist letter from.
What was it like? Give me an anecdote from you and Dave hanging out with that was nice. Dave is really freaky when it comes down to it. Like the most shocking thing he did. Dave has lots of piercings like everywhere. Weird. I did not know that. I would have taken the under on 1, but whatever, man. If that makes him happy, good for him. Mr. Richard, by the way, has a question. Hunter Green versus Hunter Brown, the battle of the Hunters on DK. I'm running Crawford in a Boston stack. Well, I think I know what you're going to answer. You're going to answer Hunter Green. Hunter Brown's a good pitcher too, but
Hunter Brown, he hasn't figured everything out. If you look at his stuff from last year, it's really erratic. It's also, this is still a really same Texas team as last season for the most part. Good bats in there that can do a lot of damage. I'm telling you, I'm just so low on the Mets that I just think that these guys are gutless. I know these, each one of you. I've sat through last season with playing these guys. These guys are like Lindor is gutless.
Polamer's got guts, man.
He's there. He's good for a homer here and there, but for the most part, it's a lot of negative at bats. But I actually I think their best hitter is probably Francisco Alvarez, to be honest with you. But really Alonso, but Alvarez right there. But everyone else complete gutless. Maybe Tyrone Taylor, not a ton of talent, but he could do a little damage.
He's a homer or a strikeout, right? He feels like a homer or a strikeout, like a fly ball or a strikeout. Which you like to see him in the lineup for both ways. I think he's pretty cheap too. Beatty, rookie not a rookie. He played last year. But he's still a prospect.
The quintessential cleanup hitter. What a freaking Momo this new Mets manager is.
Well, who should it be? Because
not Brett Beatty. I'll tell you that much.
Well, look at the pieces he's got. Starling Marte is on the back nine. He might be on hole 17 or hole 18. I think he might be done. McNeil, he'll make contact. Great, good for him. But he's got no power. Same thing with Bader. Bader's like a defensive outfielder, essentially. He's got some speed, some defense, no power. He'll make some contact, but this lineup's bad. And then there's Stewart. Stewart's actually got power, but he's going to strike out a ton. Stewart's the other guy that feels like Taylor and Stewart are going to combine for like 6 or 7 strikeouts with 1 homer and like 1 ball on the warning track, like something like that. But they're good for stacks, and they're good if you have a
they should have Nemo batting fourth. They tried to change his swing and make him a power hitter, and why isn't he batting for cleanup?
He's been struggling. I think they wanted to give him a day off, but yeah, I thought he would be leading off. You got Mr. Smile in there, Francisco Lindor leading off. I'm playing both sides of this. Again, that's not like a take. I just think both sides are worth playing. Play Green and play the Mets. Kind of a good segue into stacks, right? We're not playing the stack game. We didn't set anything up. We'll be doing that on smaller slates. Could have done it tonight, but we'll do that later, another time. But tell me your favorite stacks, and I'll tell you consensus-wise, myself, yourself, Dave Potts, and Napster. We gave Atlanta, no surprise, consensus number one across the board. Everybody's number one. Then Philly versus Corbin, duh. Cincinnati, taking on Quintana, great ballpark as well. Houston, always Houston. Houston's always got to be considered. And they're facing a left-hander, but they're facing kind of a reverse splits left-hander. So, not that I'm going to run away. Left-hander, we can't roster, Alvarez and Tucker. Doesn't matter. I'll roster those guys against any lefties, right? They can hit lefties just fine, but Bradford's kind of reverse splitsy. So they're sort of sneaky. I don't know, as sneaky as they can be. They're up next. Kansas City, and then Boston. Kansas City put a hurting on whoever they played yesterday. Like put an 8 spot. Was the White Sox? They put like an 8 spot or a 7 spot in one inning. Then your Boston Red Sox. Guess who put them there? You're the only one that has Boston, and I was the only one to show. I have the Mets, the gutless Mets 5 for the record. That's what I thought Nemo was going to play, but I'll still keep them at 5. Do you want to change anything? You feel good about Atlanta 1, Philly 2?
No, I made them a little different between sites today. I normally just put the same ones on each site, but I made them a little different because of pricing. But I would add, I like the Royals again. Betty could be. He made some real. He had a killer first start, right? Like not completely out of like what we weren't expecting to see. Now there may be some changes that are real. His velocity wasn't. He usually throws like 95, and his velocity was down, so that was kind of weird. But his secondary stuff was much better. He's got like a good repertoire. He's got a splitter, a sweeper. So I don't know what to think of this, but I think it's worth taking shots on him instead of Canning. I also think it's worth playing the Royals. And I do want to point out that today is Fettuccine Friday. So we have Vinny P is firmly in play here.
What do we do on Wednesdays? I know it's not Wednesday, but what do we do? What is that called?
That's Prince Spaghetti Day. We went through this last season.
That doesn't make sense with the iteration. Okay.
Wednesday is Prince Spaghetti Day.
I think that's like a local commercial you saw as a kid that I don't know what you're talking about.
No, Prince was a big spaghetti. I think
I know Chef Boyardee.
No,
but I don't know who Prince is.
After the show, Google it. You'll see.
Okay. Maybe producer Steve can throw him up on the screen for us. I don't know. Do you know Who's this now? This could be today's poll question. What's this guy, Prince Spaghetti? Is that what we're talking about?
It's not Little Red Corvette or Purple Rain. We're not talking.
No,
about,
that's the singer, with the symbol.
Electric. By the way, Prince is electric.
Spectacular.
From a musical standpoint,
yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
That's not a hot take.
Get better than that. No, I know, but absolutely.
Well, just so versatile.
Electric.
Dude played everything. By the way, so I'm getting yelled at here in the chats. Not yelled at, but they're surprised that I don't know what you're talking about. But I feel, can we get that up as today's poll question? What's the Prince Spaghetti?
Have you heard of Prince Spaghetti Day?
I don't know what that is. I wonder if that made its way to Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. But
no, he probably puts ketchup on pasta out there.
Oh, come on. People don't.
I want to hear if that's a thing out there. Yeah, I have when I went to my friend in France, in Paris.
Yeah,
I went and they do that. I couldn't believe it.
Okay. I know that I was thinking mayonnaise and fries. That's like an Austrian thing or something, somewhere over there in Europe as well. But isn't this a scene from Pulp Fiction, I believe? There you go. Producer Steve is showing us why was Wednesday Prince Spaghetti Day. There's a company called Prince Pasta, which I've never heard of. Prince Pasta.
I see. It's like a huge it's a huge like pasta, like it's like a cheap pasta company.
Well, do they still exist? Prince Pasta?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I don't know who that. I've never heard of Prince Pasta. Again, this is a company I've heard of, like Berea.
Yep, it's similar.
Big rival, Prince and Berea. Really, it's like
Steve knows it. Steve Jones knows
it. Tim in chat says he's heard of it. Tim's a big pasta guy. Oh, maybe I missed something. I don't know.
Swaggy T.
That's what we're calling Tim, Swaggy T.
That's what I call him.
All right. So
you know what? Juggalo Nation would like to throw out a free invite to Swaggy T if he wants to be a part of Jug Nation. I think he'd make a great member.
I don't think he would. I feel like Tim goes to different kind of festivals.
Yeah, I think you're too hard on him.
He's a fan of ICP. That's not for him.
I think you're too hard on him.
He's more of a Burning Man kind of guy. Yeah, I don't think it's for him. He's going to say thanks, but no thanks. He's not going to.
I would like to do Burning Man, but I also it was a huge disaster last year or the last.
It couldn't have been worse than the Fire Festival, right? The one with the there was two different documentaries that came out in the Fire Festival like in a matter of like weeks as far as how terrible it was. That was
who else is everybody else going down these like Diddy wormholes on
no. I mean people are, but no, we're not discussing.
It's so fascinating.
It's a different podcast and a different show altogether.
I mean, you got to listen to Cat Williams on Joe Rogan Experience, guys.
I don't have to. That is not something we have to do.
I love Cat Williams. Is like my favorite comedian too.
Really?
Yeah, one of them.
Oh, they pulled the tail. Boom! There we go. We got the under. They pulled him at 69 pitches. Oh, nice. No sweat at all. Nice. Why would they pull him so early? That seems pretty. They just had him on, I guess, an innings limit or something like that. That seems very odd. But we shout out to the squad ride because that was Roth's pick. Roth will be touting that in a few minutes. Now the over is not looking so hot, but we did get the under on the tail outs.
Congrats to all my underbackers out there. The 2-point sims.
All right. Give me some more thoughts as far as stacks today. Does it have to be a 5-3? Is that kind of like what's your general approach as far as making stacks, Kirkwood?
I think at 4 or 5 tonight. I think you got to stack tonight. 7 is enough. When you get down to like 5, I think anything's on the board.
All right. Just kind of reading. You said the chat is now taking the show off the rails. Unfortunately, we got to get it back on. They are talking about Prince Spaghetti Day and other things as well. Who wins, NC State or Purdue? Do you watch the March Madness?
Dude, yes, I am, and I am heavily invested in March Madness. So, for anyone that doesn't know me, I'm a UConn fan. right? One of my good friends growing up played for UConn, won a national championship. I used to go all like to tons of his games. I got like tournament seats. Even when they won with Shabazz Napier, I got courtside tickets from my friend. So I thought this was their year the whole time. So I've been hammering UConn to win the entire time, and like they limit me. They don't let me bet the same thing twice. So what I've had to do is every single bet that I make has had to be a parlay with UConn winning the championship. So I am heavily invested in UConn winning this. I'll think about hedging on Sunday night a little bit, but I'm not a hedger big time. I mean, it would be preferable if NC State would win, then it'd be the easiest hedge of all time. But yeah, I need UConn to smash. Not to take care of business is what I need.
If you got any questions, by all means, fire them off in chat. Happy to answer those. I see Derek's asking Walsh or Gallo, which you're basically just you're shooting for a homer with those guys, right? How do you feel about Joey Gallo in the year 2024? We don't really want to pick on Aaron Nola. At least I don't really want to pick on Aaron Nola, but he's cheap, right? Good ballpark. And Joey Gallo, if he makes contact, we saw it the other day, he absolutely annihilated a baseball. Or do we like Walsh? How do you feel about Jared Walsh amongst those two? You're picking your cheap flyer.
Who do we like, Phil? All right, we like.
How old is Phil these days? Hold Phil back up.
He's 14 years old.
Oh wow, it's a good run.
He's in retirement right now, living his best life.
Yeah, good for him.
This guy, he's been there by my side for 14 years. Like, I've taken him everywhere. I've been to Las Vegas with him. I've been to the Borgata with him.
They let you in the Borgata?
I stayed at the Sheraton, which was dog friendly, which was close by.
Yeah.
I knew Richard Hamilton, and I knew Khalid Al-Amin, J3. I know I'm really good friends with Jake. Was really good friends with Jake Boswell. He's got a really embarrassing story he could tell about me in college. And Kevin Freeman is my boy. So
did you give me a take as far as Walsh and Gallo?
I wrote up Joey Gallo for a homer.
Oh.
When Nola's erratic, he struggled with home runs last season at times. If you look at his last season stats, he's up there on the slate, up in the top with all of the guys, Bradford, but that's a small sample, has the highest home run per nine. But Nola is right in the middle, like right up there with all these guys. And that's even close to like Corbin. When he struggles, he gives up the long ball. It just takes one mistake for Joey Gallo. I'm not a big Joey Gallo is not a great hitter by any means, but in his opening start, Nola was leaving everything dead center right over the plate. Like his command was just bad. He was missing just right. He's
got to be precise. Like he's more of an accurate guy than like a stuff guy, right?
So I mean, it could go. Obviously I'm prepared for the zero floor with Joey Gallo, but I like the home run upside. So he's my guy tonight.
To your point, by the way, dating back to last season, Nola 1.55 homers per nine, which is a few too many. You mentioned Bradford 1.77, 61 innings. That's a fair bit, and 46% as far as fly balls. Houston locked in for 9. So I like the Astros a good bit. They're not my favorite, but as I always say, like the Astros are one of those teams that if you're making 3, 4, 5, 6 lineups or so, probably make one Astros stack. Crunch time, Dave Potts is going to go around the horn, give his favorite plays position by position, but we're being asked specifically, so we can halt the show. First base is tricky today. Who do we like at first? I can pull up our rankings or my rankings and your rankings. I talked about the polar bear. I mean, I like the polar bear a good bit. Matt Olson is an awesome play, left on left, like he's one of those guys that might be left out of the Atlanta stack. But by all means, play yourself some Matt Olson. Same deal with Harper, left on left. We saw him hit a granny the other day off a left-hander. Vinny P is pretty cheap, especially on FanDuel. Baum is first base eligible. I'm good with CES and Kanashio Strand. I think Alonso like 3-4 on FanDuel. If you're looking at FanDuel, that's what I happen to have up right now. 5-2 on DK. Gallo's 3-5, but like again, that you're just shooting for that homer. You have a favorite first baseman? Is this something you're going to prioritize, or like it's like a pool of like one of these four is acceptable or whichever one's in your stack. How you handle that as first base?
If I had unlimited salary, I would play Bryce Harper in the lefty, and especially with the bullpen. But other than that, my guy, like I already said, is Joey Gallo, trying to search for the upside. Jared Walsh, Vinny P. I told you it's Fettuccine Friday. And then CES I'm on board with. I think Jose Abreu is fine too. It's just
only in a stack for me. I wouldn't play Abreu a la carte. He's got to be in a stack for me. No?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not expecting much when I'm playing, but you're just hoping. He throughout his career he's always hit left-handed pitching well. There's home run issues. I mean, he could do it. Yeah, I know. He was old last season too, and you were calling him.
He's older now. Yeah. He's older this season, my understanding. I think that's how that works.
I mean, he's got that Phil dog fight in. Phil is much older in dog years.
Phil's delightful, but like I wouldn't. I mean, look, I don't want to roster Phil in 20. He's a spectacular dog. He got
I used to have this little football toy when he was a puppy, and I could hug it so far, and he would catch it. Like off of like into his mouth. It was awesome.
Could you like roll it to him and he would play with it, or is it now he doesn't care anymore?
He would like it now. I should get one. I mean, they're all destroyed. I haven't used. You can't play with him much because he was paralyzed in his leg. I got to keep it easy with him, but he still does. You know what? He got his dental, which is like they removed a bunch of teeth, and he like became a whole new dog again. Yeah, so it was definitely bothering him.
Do they give him false teeth or just take his teeth away?
No, they just take it out. They don't. You can just make a slurry. They call it. It's just dog food with water, or you can get wet food. They don't mind. They don't care. He still has a couple of teeth, but he's missing most of them.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
It was good to see that the cameo appearance.
That's dog life. But just go home run hunting. You can. I mean, and you can do it high or low. You can go Matt Olson, Bryce Harper. You can go. Jared Walsh, you can go even Salvi at the first base position if you need to, but you don't need to. You can go Joey Gallo. I think Casas batting sixth is kind of a sneaky overpriced leverage dong. So I'm going to coin that sneaky overpriced leverage.
It's really catchy and quick.
Yeah.
It's actually not. I'm giving a refresh the weather edge. I wonder if we're getting something as far as the Angels, or is it still? Yeah, still no historical data for the Angels. They're calling it a snow in chat, by the way. Which there you go. That's easier to say, I suppose. Sneaky, overpriced leverage. All right, or Soul. Is McGuire usable in a Red Sox stack, Kirkwood? I mean, like I mean, cheap and he's a catcher. He stinks.
Yeah, that's whatever. It. He stinks. He could do it though. He's it doesn't feel good. But
you're not like seeking him out. But if that's what makes your Boston stack work and everything else, I guess, right? Sure.
Doesn't have a lot working in his favor, but except for the fact that I like that's a nice leverage stack. And Griffin Canning has always struggled with home run balls too. Griffin Canning had the absolute most atrocious start in his first start against Baltimore. He was 2 miles per hour down on his fastball velocity. So I can't believe – I mean, I get it because people think the Red Sox stink, but I think this line 1 through 6 of this Red Sox lineup is decent. I
mean, that's you put in the back of the DVD. 1 through 6 is decent. It's not.
I mean, did I tell you on that or what, guys?
No. I want the decent guys. I hear what you're saying though.
Last stack standing. It's the last stack standing rule right there.
Maybe Story can a little record. I think I'm going to watch Story more so in Boston. It makes more sense, obviously, and just this Boston team in Boston makes more sense. But I mean, I guess maybe we'll see. He's still only 30. Which is, I mean, he could be done.
He's been hitting the ball well to start.
Yeah, I'm not ready to bury him just yet. We were talking about it the other day, the Discord channel, and kind of going back and forth on it. Alex was in there hanging out, and he's very, very smart. I think he was on the side of like he's not really bullish about the Story being a great reclamation project. I like Yoshida a good bit. O'Neill certainly can hit 30+ homers, especially with the monster, and Casas can do the same. Like you said, the back end is pretty rough there for Boston. Trying to see what else we need to talk about as far as the slate. Atlanta, I feel like we didn't talk enough about Atlanta. Well, what's your official Braves take today? Braves, I think, was a team that every single day you just play the Braves last year. And
why would you not? Well, so what's changed?
I said we haven't talked about them a lot.
Yeah,
we just sort of mentioned them in passing.
What's the number one offense tonight? They have a 6-run team total. There's 10 miles per hour wind blowing out to left center. They're facing Tommy Henry, who's probably the worst pitcher on the slate. They're also smashed left-handed pitching. He's a lefty, so this is like, I mean, just think of like all these guys, like right, Acuna, Albies, Riley, Ozuna, Duvall. You get the lefty Matt Olson in there if you want, but if you want to leave one out, you can do that too as well. Arcia down at the bottom, like you can make this stack any way you want, any way you can fit. Michael Harris is fine. I mean, this entire
Harris
lineup,
probably in a stack.
Yeah.
Just they kind of buried him a little bit. Darno batting ninth, by the way, really burying Darno. I thought they would have Arcia there. Nicky Lopez revenge game. That's hilarious. What a revenge double you might get out of Nicky Lopez. He can fully power up and get himself a double. But yeah, I want to pick on Tommy Henry as well. 2 first names, no out pitches, and just the awful matchup here versus Atlanta. Atlanta's going to get their popularity. Everyone wants to get Acuna, but of course he's expensive. But you try to make it happen. You try to make that work.
I'm sure that
wants to know. Someone
wants to know who's the highest owned on DK. Ozuna or Duvall. I'm showing Duvall.
They're both cheap enough, and they're in the right spot. Those are going to be the more popular ones. Just kind of make the salary stuff work. I'm pulling it up here on the fly. Let's see. We have our ownership stuff as of like 10 minutes ago or so. Let's see. Duvall at 17%, which is a pretty big number for a 7-game slate. There's a certain number, 25, 30 is where it starts to get kind of alarming. And if all of a sudden it's like, well, you just probably fade. It's not basketball where it's like, here's a point guard who's 3K and he's going to play 35 minutes. And it's like almost impossible for him to fail, right? There's a very good chance Adam Duvall fails, whatever you want to call failing is. Arcia at 16, 17% feels kind of like bad. Arcia's the guy, again, another Ole and Stacks guy for me. Ozuna 16%. And Acuna at 17%. Let's see. Roof is open for Texas. That's interesting. Did not see that. They open it sometimes. That Houston-Texas game, somebody was asking about it. People love their game stacks. A lot of times it's like, just in game environment. But how do you feel about the game stack? 2 good offenses. No Young there, of course, for Texas. He'll be done for the next 2 months or so. It's really hurting my dynasty team, Kirkwood. I'm making a trade now for a terrible third baseman. We're in trouble. We'll talk about it off air more. I'm sure the people don't want to hear about that. But
I'm gonna refer you to Chop. DM Chop about it. He'll be excited to talk with you.
I'm really hurting for a third baseman. Third baseman are just going down. Like there's like 3 injuries so far this year. They've been third baseman. But yeah, Houston, Texas game stack. You on board with that?
You want to hear a funny story quickly with Chop?
Why would you? They're probably funnier if you tell it in front of Chop, wouldn't it be?
A friend contacted me and was like, "Hey, we've got this big high stakes NFL fantasy league, and it's got Irv Gotti in it. It has Paul Pierce in it, and then a bunch of poker players. My friend's the poker player, and he doesn't know much about it. And he's like, we want you to, we'll pay you a little money to draft and manage the team for us." And I said I referred them to Chop, and so we got last place, finished dead last.
I had a feeling that's what this was going to end.
He buried me, a lot of injury problems, but
yeah, football, that happens, I suppose. Did we get enough likes for the Juggalo bomb for the people?
Yeah, my Juggalo bomb is Joey Gallo tonight. So
okay. Yeah, you just want to fire off one. You want to give multiples. I mean, the more shots, the more chances you have to hit one. But you hit 2 the other day. Feel free to, I don't want to force anything out of you, but if you like any more,
when one comes, we'll get there. But
this is the end of the show. There's no more coming.
Yeah, this is nice. This is early. They're earlier. This is nice.
Well, because it's 6:40 first pitch. It's
music to my ears. I'm going to say chalk Adam Duvall.
All right. So you got Duvall and you got Joey Gallo. You could have picked these guys like in 2017, and their chances would have been just as good, I suppose, to hit some homers. With that, let's bring in. We got Dave Potts. Cheeseisgood. We got SquirrelPatrol talking a little bit of basketball. But
Steve,
the leader of the squad.
Can you make sure that Cheese sees the graphic again about when we can reminisce over our night? Jug Nation.
It is Chief. No, wait. I thought Kevin Roth was coming in. What just happened?
It's Chief Meteorologist TJ.
Yes. Oh, he's fine. He's fine. I gave him access to the dew point model. He's good. He's good.
We got it covered.
All right. So Roth hit the squad ride pick today, and I guess he just that's it. He's not even here for his victory lap.
He probably was so excited he drank too much. And he's
it's actually been me on the schedule the whole time. So at no point did it say Kevin Roth.
I mean, I don't want to throw
what a night that was.
Bus.
What a night that was! If everyone can see the graphic that Steve
looking good.
Yeah, we had a blast that night, huh Dave?
Quite a party. Quite a party. Very little. Very little. Yeah.
What was your favorite song that you heard anything by ICP?
I would have to look that up to remember.
So the thing is, the great thing is Dave came in there fresh. He didn't want any biases or anything, so he didn't know the names of the song, but he loved them all, and he was like, "Oh, that's it was fun, great night."
I rocked pretty hard.
We should step aside and get out of here. They got baseball and basketball to knock out. My bad. I did not see in the email that TJ was here. TJ was hanging out in the chat and he didn't even give me the heads up. At least I missed it. Oh, by the way, I'm jumping in. I'm playing the role of Roth, but that's fine. Thankfully, there's nothing really weather-wise that's otherwise it's too goofy unless I miss something. If there is, Roth will probably update it on his Twitter, or maybe he'll update his article. With that, myself and Kirk, we do appreciate you watching the first portion. Check me out tomorrow night on Sirius, RotoGrinders.com. No. Why am I giving the www? It's myself and Bobby Gomes, friend of the show, Bobby Gomes. We're on Sirius tomorrow night at 5 to 7, Sirius XM, Fantasy Sports Radio. With that was Kirkwood. I was Dean, and TJ, all the way from Saskatoon.
Squirrel and I will be watching UFC at that time. We will be watching UFC at that time.
Give me some winners. Slide into the DMs and give me some winners. All right, take it away, TJ.
Believe it or not, Dean, it is not my job to read the schedule for you. It's only my job to read the schedule for me. And so I'm not going to apologize for not telling you that I was on for Roth today, but that's all right because I am now on with the literal two sharpest minds in DFS, and we're going to help you get through some NBA, some MLB. My name is TJ Zwarych. First up, Cheese, how you doing tonight?
I'm great. Yeah, not only you get two people who talk DFS, two people who actually read the schedule and are not surprised to see you, and we're just pleasantly as expected to see you.
Wonderful to see you as well. And Squirrel, I haven't actually checked the schedule, but I'm assuming I'll see you tomorrow for some MMA as well. How you doing?
Good. Yeah, I think we got a 3-man booth tomorrow for UFC, so that should be fun. And it's kind of a fun card. Probably more fun than this NBA slate. But late season NBA is what it is. It's April. It's that time of year. So yeah, we'll get it done.
We'll start things off talking with some MLB. I believe that's how we've been doing things so far. So, Cheese, why don't you give us a little bit of a breakdown of the slate? We got, thankfully, Coors left off, but still actually some pretty big totals, bigger than we've seen on the main slate so far.
Yeah, it's actually probably the best slate of the year in the sense of we have everything. Like, we have very good pitching in different pricing tiers. We've got enough stacks that it's not super chalky. Like there's 3 or 4 pretty obvious stacks. There's some high totals. There's some salary savers. You don't even have to stack. You can find one-offs to like. I like it. There's a little bit of everything, and the pricing, at least on the DK side, is tight enough that it's not easy to make a lineup, but it's possible to make a lineup. I just like it.
Tell me first things first before we even dive into it, and this will kind of lead us into pitching. Am I crazy? I know you like those questions. Am I crazy that I am full fading Spencer Strider tonight?
No, especially on DK. The pricing is really well done. Like you really have to sacrifice a ton to use him. I think if you're doing a bunch on FanDuel, I would say you're crazy to full fade him probably. But on DK, no, I don't think it's crazy. And I don't really think he's actually going to be all that chalky. I think Griffin Canning is the chalkiest player on the slate.
All right. Well, I'm actually a little bit under on him as well. So has me feeling good from a tournament standpoint today. But why don't you talk us through the pitcher position?
Yeah. So it's different enough between the sites because of the Strider pricing on FanDuel. He's pretty reachable. I think Strider and Freddie Peralta are the bulk of my pool on FanDuel. I also like Cutter Crawford quite a bit at 8,200. Feel totally free to play Hunter Green, Aaron Nola, Logan Gilbert, Brady Singer. With where Strider and Peralta are priced or going down, I don't really feel the need to spread out at the high end personally. But DK is tricky. 11K for Strider is about right. Like he's worth 11K. But there really aren't a lot of there's almost no minimum salary type bats. Like you pretty much need to spend over 3K at every position, and most positions you're wanting to spend 4 or 5. So I'm with you on underweight Strider. I think Freddie Peralta and Griffin Canning are the chalk. Peralta is just good and only 9,300. And Griffin Canning, I don't know. I'm nervous about Griffin Canning because his velocity was way down at his first start. I'm going to just say his first start of the year and he'll pick up. And so I think he's underpriced, although I don't want to be crazy on him either. So ideally my best lineups, who knows what those are. The lineups I like the best have 2 pitchers between 8,000 and 9,500. My favorites are Cutter Crawford and Freddie Peralta. But if you wanted to make that Hunter Green and Brady Singer, Logan Gilbert, Aaron Nola, personally, I have 0 Nola. I'm also a little concerned about him, and concerned about he'll still probably throw a quality start. It's not like I dislike the guy. I want to see him show me that he's not in a downswing part of his career. I don't really think he is, but there's so many good pitchers tonight. It's not the time I need to take a chance on him.
Get us up to 150. Oh, sorry. I thought that was it. I was going to make.
I was just saying, I don't know if I mentioned Eric. I don't know if I mentioned Eric Fetty. He's kind of the pivot from Canning. Both of them are risky, and ideally, I would spend up to Cutter Crawford, Hunter Green, or above on DK.
Get us up to 150 likes, and I got some Spidey bombs coming for the people. Maybe we can get some home run calls from Squirrel, maybe some Squirrel's nuts here. Going for, even though he's covering NBA, we got some people in chat, Squirrel, saying, feel free to just skip NBA. So I don't know about that. I don't know if we can fully skip it, but we'll.
It sounds legit to me.
We'll still get some Squirrel's nuts out of you today. But what about stacks, Cheese? Talk me through your favorite stacks, and then we'll go position by position.
Yeah, this is where it's fun. So I think very obviously the Braves are the top stack, but they're also obviously expensive. And I think such a huge percentage of Brave stacks are going to have Canning. That's what I don't want to do. Like if you just play like Peralta, Canning, and a Brave stack, well, now you have the same lineup as all the other Brave stacks. So they are my top team. But because of the salaries being good, I have just about as much Kansas City. And then I like the Phillies and the Astros, which again, neither of those are sneaky, but now we're getting up towards like 4 teams that are chalky. Well, so they can't all be really all that chalky. And I don't think it's going to be a night where hitter ownership matters that much. I think it's spread out to where you just play who you want to play, which for me is Braves, Royals, Phillies, Astros.
All right, I think that makes sense. Let's go position by position. Start me at the catcher position.
So several positions that have been kind of dead all year are kind of okay today. Catcher is one of those. I think Real Muto is kind of the obvious best play and pretty affordable. Yainer Diaz is right behind him, along with Sal Perez. Darno in Brave stacks, and then Alvarez will be the popular. He's not super cheap, but 3,200 is pretty cheap. And unless you just desperately need the salary for like Luke Maley or lower, I would want to get Alvarez or higher.
I think that makes sense. First base position.
Yeah, adding to the weirdness of the slate, like as good as catcher and like shortstop are, first base is kind of dicey. On the FanDuel side, you can kind of afford whoever. So I like Pete Alonso the best. Vinny P is cheap if you need something cheaper. But on DK, like Alonso's priced up where you could just play Harper instead of him. You can probably get up to Matt Olson in a Brave stack. And then guys like Vinny P and Encarnacion Strand, they're just not cheap. Like they're not expensive, but unless you're going with cheap pitchers, they're still not easy to get. But then that leaves you with nonsense like Joey Gallo, where you're hoping the one time he hits the ball in play, it's a home run, or Jared Walsh, same kind of play. Those guys are fine, but they're not dirt cheap enough to be excited about. So ideally, I want to get up to like Vinny P, and more ideally than that, I want to get up to Alonso.
Second base.
In a vacuum, I would not say that Ozzy Albies is my favorite play on the slate, or in a vacuum cleaner. I don't know why we don't say in a vacuum cleaner as the saying, but compared to the rest of the position, Albies is my favorite play on the slate. I don't love Altuve and Semien on their own in the same realm as Albies, but all three of those guys are certainly wonderful plays. And then past them, it's really just a something in a stack. Like I don't love India and Stott all that much. Like they're fine on their own, but really those are guys I want in a stack. In a few lineups, I've had to just punt with like Adam Frazier, even if it's not a full Royal stack, and just hope he gets you like 8 points, that there's someone on base when he hits his singles. But if I can really only prioritize one spend up, it's Albies because of the position eligibility and not in a vacuum cleaner at all.
What about a large Dyson?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If Jared Dyson were on the slate, we could double him up.
Third base position.
Austin Riley. FanDuel, he's very reachable. DraftKings, like with all these positions, you can't play all these guys. Like I love Riley and I like Devers, even in canning lineups. But really, it's hard to spend over 5K everywhere. So I think Alec Boehm is probably the chalk. I like Michael Garcia as well. Those two guys with Candelario, all kind of in that same 4K range. I think Brett Beatty will pick up some good ownership at 3K hitting cleanup. I think you're allowed to play something like Oliver Dunn because at 2,100, even if you get a 0, like that allows you to fill in the rest of your lineup. And if he gets on base, then all the better. But ideally, I'm getting up to Beatty or like the 4K range with Boehm.
And then shortstop position, and then we'll pivot to outfield and finally talk some basketball before questions.
Yeah, shortstop is also loaded. I love shortstop. On FanDuel, it's not quite as much a priority to get to Bobby Witt because Trey Turner and Lindor are super cheap. You could do Trevor Story. But Bobby Witt in the vacuum cleaner is probably my favorite play on the slate. But he's not as much a priority because there's more shortstops I like compared to Albies at second. And then on the DraftKings side, like he's 6,300, Trey Turner's 6,100. It's really tough to spend 6K on bats. So I'm playing a little bit more like Orlando Arcia and Jeremy Pena. Orlando Arcia is weird chalk on any slate, but the Braves are so good, and Arcia is really pretty good too. So if I can't spend up, that's just what I'm doing.
And then finally, the outfield position.
The outfield is a little tricky because most of the top players are not quite in ideal spots, with the exception of the Braves. Certainly Acuna is the top play if you have money. Ozuna and Duvall will be chalky-ish because they're cheaper, especially on FanDuel. The Royals outfield, I think the Royals are going to be chalk. probably as much as Atlanta. But I don't particularly care because, like I say, I don't think anyone's going to be like 30% owned. So I have a lot of Velasquez and Melendez. Where I need much cheaper stuff, like on DK, I think you can do things like Tyrone Taylor or Jake Myers or Stuart Fairchild. But there aren't like those 2K guys that we really need to make everything else work. And on FanDuel, I would not. There's no need to go below guys like Duvall and Melendez because you can just load up your lineup with those. I think that covers everyone.
All right, let's swap to basketball. Will you be taking a peek at the RotoGrinders Discord for MLB questions in the meantime?
Yeah, I will be in there answering while you guys talk NBA.
Awesome, and then we will take QQs from the YouTube chat and any NBA ones from the live stream chat as well as soon as we're done talking NBA. Squirrel, why don't you give me a breakdown of the slate we got over in the basketball streets?
Sure. So it's pretty much a mess. It's late season April NBA. We do get like most injury clarity, I guess. I think the one piece of the biggest piece of outstanding is probably Zion Williamson. He's still questionable for the Pelicans, but the Golden State lineup is kind of a mess. There's a bunch of guys questionable there. I don't know if that makes a huge impact. And then Toronto still has some questionable guys. Tyler Hero may or may not play, but I'm probably not that interested in the Heat anyway. And I'm probably not interested in Tyler Hero if he does play. And Memphis only has 8 guys again, so it's kind of like a microcosm of the season in one slate, but in a very chaotic late season, and April NBA slate. So I do think that probably the Memphis thing is the thing that's jumping off the page. And yeah, I like to target teams that only have 8 guys.
Makes sense. Why don't we go position by position here?
Sure. So starting at the point guard position, you've got hold on, wrong tab. Starting at the point guard position, you've got some Memphis guys. You have Scottie Pippen Jr. and Jordan Goodwin. Those have been the guys that we've been interested in from Memphis when they're in this situation of only having 8 guys. But then you also have some major injury news that Luka is, I think, currently doubtful, but probably not expected to play. So Kyrie Irving is definitely in play for cash games, but also tournaments. And then Giannis, I think, is doubtful or not expected to play, but Damian Lillard is back. So the good thing is Kyrie is multi-position eligible, so you can play him at shooting guard on FanDuel. So you can basically play Damian Lillard, Kyrie Irving at shooting guard, and one of the Memphis point guards. We don't know who's starting, but it really hasn't mattered that much, and they've been playing these Scottie Pippen and Jordan Goodwin together. So yeah, basically to sum up the point guard position, it's the Memphis guys, Kyrie Irving, Damian Lillard. I do like getting to some Jordan Poole as well. He's another guy who has multi-position eligibility. Wizards are just letting him shoot as much as he wants. Probably a good segue into the shooting guard position because I'm playing some Jordan Poole there, playing some Kyrie Irving, and then getting some Chris Middleton as well with Giannis out. One thing to note, the Zion is I think it just came across, he's still questionable. I tend to think that questionable guys are not going to play this point of the season. So you might want to build in some CJ McCollum. I'm putting in a little bit of a bump to CJ McCollum's projection just to get some of him because in case Zion is out, Brandon Ingram is out as well. So CJ McCollum then become a pretty good play. Small forward position, getting a lot of Memphis guys. GG Jackson is only 5,900 on FanDuel. Again, he's a good point per minute player. They've only got 8 guys. I should just note that I really like the situation where we only have 8 guys, more so even than the situation of Giannis being out or Luka being out. Because when Luka's out, if the Mavericks start getting stomped, Kyrie doesn't have to play the second half. But with Memphis, they only have 8 guys. Those 8 guys have to play. So GG Jackson, the top small forward option. Then Chris Middleton with Giannis out. Then getting a lot of Jake LaRavia. I'm playing some Jason Tatum, not as much as I thought I would earlier in the day, just because Jaylen Brown and Derek White are out. And then Memphis has this guy, Mazarina Pereira, who I'm playing, who I had not heard of until a few days ago.
Nazarino?
Mazarina Pereira.
Play him. Lock.
He's a forward. He's like a 6'8" skinny forward that gets a bunch of rebounds, actually gets a good number of like steals and blocks in the G League. I like that kind of active player in this kind of like ridiculous game against Detroit. Because I mean, if he's active, getting steals, blocks, rebounds, this is his kind of game. So I think he's worth putting in there. And he's also a small forward, like a near minimum price small forward. So power forward, getting a bunch of the Memphis guys that are also small forward eligible. Gigi Jackson, Jake LaRavia, getting some Lamar Stevens from Memphis. Starting lineup will be important there. Playing some Bobby Portis with Giannis out, and then playing a bunch of Jabari Walker. Portland's got the matchup against Washington that we've been picking on all season very successfully. So playing against a bunch of Portland guys, which is a good segue into DeAndre Ayton, who I think is the top center option on FanDuel. Playing some Bobby Portis, and then getting to Victor Wembanyama whenever I can.
All right, we got about 10 minutes left till MLB lock, so I'll try and get most of the MLB questions first. But of course, if you have NBA questions, get them in there as well. And then as soon as we have covered all of those after MLB lock, we will get out of here. I realized I forgot to give my weather report since I am the chief meteorologist. I talked to my people in the meteors. We're good. It's fine. Nothing's going to be postponed. Play ball. That is the weather report for today. And if you're playing NBA, if you're playing MLB, you should be checking out SimLabs with the expert DFS lineup generation tool from RotoGrinders and Fantasy Labs, now available for MLB in beta. With a few clicks, you can have hundreds of well-built correlated lineups for whatever contest you're playing. Try SimLabs beta for MLB while it's still available for free. And there's never been a better time to sign up for RotoGrinders Premium for NBA, PGA, NCAA basketball, NHL, MMA, and MLB. Get yourself a 6-month combo subscription at an exclusive price of $469.99. That's a savings of $250 instead of buying 6 individual months of combo premium. You can also have combo. You can give it a test with our 3-day pass for $19.99 if you're looking to test the waters before diving in. Give the link in our description a try for more info. All right, what do we got here? Looking for some questions first. See that you are up to date here on Discord, Cheese. People asking about Spidey Bombs on YouTube. Get us up over 150 likes, and we will get Spidey Bomb number 2. The first one is Alec Boehm. Cheese, in a Roomba, would you like Duval or Ozuna on DraftKings?
Ozuna.
Yeah, I think Ozuna is probably going to be the one you want always, unless for some reason he gets bumped back to like 8 or 9, something like that. Squeeze. I just combined Squirrel and Cheese. Squirrel. RJ Barrett. What are your thoughts on him?
I am not getting to RJ Barrett. I don't think Toronto is like going to be pushing anybody right now. Of their starters, like of their regular starters. So yeah, I'm not getting into a bunch of the Toronto guys at all. And I don't think I'm getting to any RJ Barrett.
As chief meteorologist, this one is for me. Will the Grizzlies game get rained out? I don't think so. It doesn't rain a lot in Memphis, and there are roofs in basketball. The games are indoors. So we did have an issue one time in New Orleans a few years back with a leak, but I don't believe the Grizzlies game will get rained out. Cheese, are Fairfield and Espinal okay for cash on FanDuel to jam in bats like Riley Acuna with Strider?
I don't love it. They both have pitch hit risk. Like Fairchild almost certainly turns into Jake Fraley as soon as the pitcher swaps. So I don't love that in cash.
DK large field tournament, would you play Harper or Vinny P at first, Cheese?
Harper.
Thoughts on Jose Quintana?
Don't. I mean, I actually think he'll give you some points. But I don't have any, and I don't know how many lineups I'd have before I had any, but I wouldn't tell you you're just like off your rocker to play him. Like he's a decent-ish pitcher. I didn't get to him.
Do you think it's worth a shot to take? Do you think it's worth it to take a shot on a full Nat stack in DK single entry?
Yeah, I mean, single entry is a little. I mean, yes, I have them, and I think I have them in a 3 max entry. So yeah, it's low probability. But like I said, I'm not certain that Nola is okay. So yeah, I like the Nats.
I'm not comfortable with it, but they actually ended up as my 5th highest owned stack today in tournaments. FanDuel Cash, Real Muto, Michael Garcia, and Alec Bohm were Vinny P, Austin Riley, and Nelson Velasquez.
I'm sorry, I need that one more time.
Philly side with Garcia, so it's Real Muto, Bohm, and Garcia, or Vinny P, Riley, and Velasquez.
Man, that's so close. I would lean the 2 Royals with Riley, but I don't think you're going wrong either way on that.
DK GPP Squirrel, who are the players that you're most overweight on, not named Goodwin?
Probably the guys that I really want to get to are Wembanyama and Jordan Poole. I think I'm playing like the smaller dollar, like they have like a $4 150 on DraftKings, which I tend to be more like $600 entry. And so like the guys that I really want to get to are Wembanyama and Poole.
Yeah. What do you think about Portland and Washington as a mini stack for DK GPPs?
Yeah, I really like that because I think a lot of people, especially on DraftKings, are going to be going to the like Memphis, Detroit guys, like to Memphis, and then like probably having like a Detroit guy like Marcus Sasser or Malachi Flynn. But like picking on Washington all year, I don't see why that would stop. Now, right?
Cheese, what are your thoughts on Singer in FanDuel Cash, or would you rather just find the money for Peralta?
Yeah, I wouldn't go Singer in cash. I mean, I think I like him, but I just get to Peralta.
Yeah, and then somebody asked, is Peralta okay for FanDuel Cash, or are we locking in Strider?
I do think Peralta's okay. I mean, I think it's not that hard to get to Strider, so that's what I would do. But I don't think Peralta is a bad option at all in cash.
How do you feel about Alex Bregman today? Is he one of your main targets in Houston stacks?
No, like he's obviously fine in Houston stacks. But no, like I'm not going out of my way to get him. Like if I just need a third baseman, great, he's in there. But he's not a priority compared to Altuve, Alvarez, and Yainer Diaz.
A lot of questions about Fairchild. Yeah, he's good while he's facing the lefty, but he's good. Like Cheese said, he's probably turning into Jake Fraley as soon as that is a right-handed bat. So big pinch hit risk for him. What do we got next here? Question for you, Squirrel. I'm playing a single bullet in the $4 150K GPP. Who is the best contrarian low-owned play? The very best.
I think it's Wembanyama. I've kind of been like tooting his horn a lot, like as we get towards the end of the season. He's going absolutely berserk. And he's got a single digit ownership. Like it's not going to be a shock if he's the highest scoring player at the end of the slate.
On DK's Squirrel, pick one: Kyrie, Dame, or Halliburton.
Sorry, on DraftKings, pick one. I'd go Kyrie.
How do you feel about Holmgren and Siakam stack to target the highest game total on the slate? This is a DK 3 entry max.
I don't like it that much. I know it's a high game total, but I just don't see like Chet Holmgren and Pascal Siakam getting there. I could be wrong. I'd rather target like the super cheap players and then go for the upside of somebody like Wembanyama.
Cheese, FanDuel tournament utility. You got Ozuna or Trey Turner?
Ozuna, unless it's part of a Philly stack or even a mini stack.
Avdia and Siakam okay on DK, Squirrel?
I don't love Siakam. And if I'm going with the Wizard, I'd probably rather go with Jordan Poole. But I mean, they're both quality players who can get there. So like, if you love it, don't let me talk you off of it. It's just those aren't the guys that I'm targeting.
Are you playing any Tim Hardaway Jr. in FanDuel tournaments?
In FanDuel, a little bit, but less than 10%.
Cheese, one bullet. Who's your favorite GPP stack on FanDuel?
Braves. Just don't worry about the ownership. Just play the best team.
How do you feel about Cutter Crawford in a FanDuel GPP?
Absolutely love him. He's at worst my third highest owned pitcher. He might even be first. I didn't actually check. Love him.
DKGPP, Poole or Giddy? That's definitely Poole. Or would you find the money for Kyrie? You love Poole today. You love Kyrie as well, though. You trying to spend up, or are you okay with Poole?
I'm okay with Poole. I'm kind of assuming it would take a good chunk. Yeah, it was 1,600 to get to Kyrie. I mean, I like Kyrie better than Poole, but like you'd have to sacrifice something to get that 1,600. It's like not an insignificant amount of money. So I'm okay sticking with Jordan Poole.
What do you think about a Met stack and a FanDuel single entry, Cheese?
I'm on board with that. I don't think you have to full stack them. Don't feel like you have to put a fourth guy in there if there's something better. But I do like their power bats.
All right. Who are your favorite cheapies on FanDuel to make a full Brave stack work?
Well, some of them are Braves, like Duvall. Basically the Royals, like Melendez, Velasquez, Vinny P.
Squirrel, are 4 Grizzlies on FanDuel Cash perfectly fine? I feel like 4 Grizzlies is probably a necessity in FanDuel Cash.
Yeah, exactly. Don't overthink it. Like these guys are too cheap and they have to play.
Yeah. Single entry on DraftKings, Cheese, Freddie and Cutter, or Strider and Canning?
Freddie and Cutter.
Yeah, that's how I'm going about it too. What do you think about a Brewers stack, and will Yelich hit a homer today?
Don't love it, and no.
Favorite point guard or shooting guard under $4,500 on DraftKings, Squirrel?
Point guard or shooting guard under 4,500?
Yeah.
I think Malachi Branham.
Peter Porker is that my guy. Peter Porker is asking for the DKGPP, the best third base punt play. Now, I feel like the best is probably Brett Beatty at 3K, but Cheese, I actually had the same question. Can you play Oliver Dunn at near minimum price on DraftKings, batting 5th?
You can, yeah. I definitely prefer Beatty, but if that extra salary makes all the difference everywhere, I think you can survive that.
Squirrel, Middleton or Avdia, DKGPP?
I'd go with Middleton.
I have 3,200 left. I need a catcher or first baseman. I assume that's FanDuel in all capital letters. Who do I play? Who can I play?
In all caps. I mean, there's actually a lot, but JT Realmuto would be
I like that.
perfect play. 3,200.
That is it for QQs on Discord. That is it for QQs on YouTube. We have done the ad reads. We have hit lock for DraftKings and FanDuel MLB. Couple more questions piling in here. DK, NBA, single entry, Wembanyama and Ayton together. Is that viable, Squirrel?
Yes.
Wendell Carter or Pippen Jr. on a DK GPP?
I'd go with Pippen.
And then rate your top 3 Grizzlies on FanDuel.
On FanDuel, I'm probably going to go Gigi Jackson first, then Jordan Goodwin, then it's kind of a toss-up between Jake LaRavia and Lamar Stevens. I'd probably go Jake LaRavia right now, but I'd maybe pay attention to the starting lineup.
We need 15 more likes for my next Spidey bomb. Let's see if we can get these up over 150 by the time Squirrel and Cheese give their home run calls. Cheese, who do you got for your home run calls tonight?
Well, let's see here. There's a lot. On the obvious side, I'll go with Ozzy Albies and Bobby Witt. I'll give you 2 obvious side guys. We'll go with Yainer Diaz in the kind of mid-tier, and then the sneaky random homer. I can't go with any of those. That's way too silly. It's not sneaky, but Nelson Velasquez. We'll just call it 2 homers.
I like it. And Squirrel, drop some nuts for us here. Who you got to hit a home run?
This is kind of old school Twins, but going with Joey Gallo and Miguel Sano.
Miguel
I like it.
Sano.
Oh, there it is. I had the wrong one. There's D's Dongs. I like that. D's Dongs. I hadn't heard that one before. That's a good one. Thanks, Steve. I missed that one. But then Spidey Bomb number 2 today. We're going Rafael Devers, last game of the night, going up against Griffin Canning. I think he's knocking one out of the park today. First was, of course, Alec Boehm. And that'll do it for today's NBA and MLB combined crunch time. We'll be back for an MLB show tomorrow. We'll be back for an MMA show tomorrow as well. Final question on DK. Can I play Victor Wembanyama at first base or catcher today's Cheese?
You can play him at third.
I honestly feel like Wemby would probably be the best defensive first baseman in the history of the MLB because there's just the catch radius would be absolutely insane if he can work a glove. But
or do you put him
in
put him in like left field to catch the balls that just barely clear the fence?
Yeah.
Back in the yard.
That's a good idea as well. He could play anywhere. He'd be a fantastic I don't know if he can swing, but he'd be great on defense at the very least. Thanks so much for tuning in today, everyone. On behalf of myself, Cheese, Squirrel, Steve behind the scenes, whole RotoGrinders team, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.